Dude, Luke, the printer's still busted. What the fuck, man?
Luke, almost 2 years. Which part of the dress code do you understand?
So I'm like not getting my girlfriend's Snapchats. Are you working on
What the fuck does that mean?
Coffee!
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 56 of the Topless Robot Podcast. My name is Ryan.
I'm Kalen.
I'm Tyler.
Daniel.
And Brooks is on his birthday vacation.
That little piece of shit.
Where'd he go?
He went to San Francisco.
Oh, cool. I'll be there next week.
So, yeah.
Ooh.
That's right. You've got a tour kickoff pretty soon here, don't you?
That's right. On Thursday at the Rhythm Room.
Yeah.
You'll probably run into the after image of Brooks.
Yes.
He leaves an impression wherever he goes.
Truly.
It's just going to be inscribed on the pavement. Magical dust.
All of a sudden, like, you'll be in some place and some puns will start coming into your head. And you'll
But
be like,
they'll all at once just puns.
yeah.
Start disrupting the fabric of the reality in the room.
Your vision will kind of fade for a second.
At least I have something to look forward to.
So, Kalen doesn't really count as a guest because Kalen is part of Topless Robot.
Correct.
Kalen just doesn't count. No, just kidding.
I can't count.
You and Dan have something in common.
Well,
It's a
Dan can count. He just can't read.
I imagine that's a big
just
problem
assumed
when
it
you're
was
rapping when you can't count any of the beats either.
Right. You know, I know I got bars. I just don't know how many I got.
He's got this many bars.
Yeah.
So, it's been a week.
Yes.
And in that week has been some news.
Things have happened,
So,
as have stuff.
probably the biggest one that got banned from being talked about in the hard drive hangout was Blizzard.
I forgot they banned people. I fucking hate that hangout, dude.
Blizzard. So during a I don't even know what fucking game it was.
Hearthstone.
Was it Hearthstone? During a Hearthstone competition, one of the players held up a sign in support for the
Civilians of Hong Kong.
Yeah, so the Hong Kong demonstrations and stuff for democracy in China. And
I thought he just said it. Didn't he?
no, he held up a
sign.
sign that said like democracy for Hong Kong or
But
something
didn't
like
he
that.
also, like in the post interview, like he won? It was I forget, it's Blitzchung.
He may have.
Yeah, like
I
there was a
didn't see
post-inter-
all of it.
there was-
I saw the
They
one
banned
clip
him
where they.
and took away his prize money.
They took his fucking prize money, dude.
Yeah.
That's cold.
Yeah.
So and didn't they also fire the presenters?
Yeah, because the two presenters hid under the table while he did it, and I guess they counted that as giving him the stage, and he said it. It wasn't just a sign. It was in the post. It was after he won.
During the game on his personal camera that wouldn't
Yeah.
have had the presenters in it. He held up a sign.
That was one part.
That's what I
but
saw.
Then when he won, it was Blitzchung, and he won, and they do the ceremonial. We're gonna interview you. And like you're not supposed to do any politics or whatever on that interview, and he actually came out and said, like, I know I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but freedom for Hong Kong. And during that segment, the announcers dropped under the table, and that's where the real hullabaloo came from.
Oh, okay.
Was he actually was saying it during the interview, and like,
Yeah, that I didn't
time,
see.
Yeah, that time is supposed to be spent just talking about what you're doing in the game and like what your mindset was during that.
You're not allowed to use it for anything important.
No platform,
right.
no personal promotion.
Don't use the platform that you've worked for.
So he got banned for talking, and then people are getting banned for talking about the ban. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
because it got posted so much in the hard drive hangout.
And they're a bunch of babies.
Yeah. Though some great memes have come out about
Yes, dude.
for example, one of my favorites that got shared. I mean, and you have to be familiar with the president of China in order to know this.
Winnie the Pooh.
He has banned the use of Winnie the Pooh in China because people would compare him to Winnie the Pooh, the way
Rightfully
that he
so.
looks like Winnie the Pooh. And so someone photoshopped the info page for BlizzCon 2019, and it said banned cosplays Winnie the Pooh.
And probably made from Overwatch, right?
Yeah, well, actually, so there's not even
freedom
a
of speech.
banned cosplay section
Right.
of their info page. It's just like banned weapons and shit like that. But that just cracked me up because it was a good shop and people were sharing it around as truth, which is a sign of a good meme.
Always.
So,
Just really realistic enough to think that it's actually happened. Yeah, it's a good time.
since that developed, Blizzard has reversed
Walked it
course and they are giving him back his prize money.
Well, their employees were striking. You know, they were
Really?
There was shit going down.
They
Good.
did a walkout. They Blizzard, the entire main Blizzard's office. They staged a walkout sometime. I think it was Wednesday.
Good. If anything, this has shown a light on something that I kind of already knew about, but didn't know to what degree.
Oh, what? China's a bunch of asshats, and
Well,
Blizzard also sucks their
not-
dicks. Oh, okay.
China's money and its involvement in Western media. And
It's
the
huge.
way that it has influenced Western media, or rather censored Western media.
I know the NBA
Tencent.
is reckoning with
NBA's
it right now.
also having the same issue.
Yeah. Tencent owns 5% of Blizzard Activision. And
They also are like majority shares in Riot.
yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And
Actually,
that's
100%
old.
Riot. 100%
That's old.
Riot.
And fuck Riot.
Yeah, like that goes way back if I remember correctly. Because this isn't by any means the first time that I've heard of Tencent. Like I always thought of Tencent in the context of Riot, like ages ago. I didn't realize that Tencent was also involved in Disney productions and things like that. Tencent was giving money, to Disney for these productions, and it's really kind of fucked up to the degree that this influence, is felt. And something seriously needs to be done about it.
It makes sense when you think about it, because like, okay, yeah, corporations and everyone, you're going to play lip service to the American dream, and everyone gets to say whatever the fuck they want and not get in trouble for it.
Tencent.
But when it comes right down to it, China's got 1 billion people, and they also like media.
Yeah.
And if you piss off the one thing that lets that media get to the people, which is Chinese government, then you're going to lose that market. And so it's like,
China's got 1 billion people and a totalitarian government.
Exactly. That's a difficult thing to deal with.
Yeah, the only thing that I see ever talking about it is like Reddit. Because you're not seeing it on the news.
Well, now it's on the latest episode of South Park.
And as of March 2018, Tencent is the largest video game company in the world.
Holy
The world.
And I had not heard of them until this week.
Tencent wholly or partially owns game companies Grinding Gear Games, Miniclip, undisclosed majority stake, Riot Games, Glue Mobile, Epic Games 40%,
No shit.
Activision Blizzard 5%, Ubisoft 5%, Paradox 5%, and Supercell 84.3%.
Supercell, really? I didn't
Yep.
know that.
That's wild.
That's
Epic.
that's why their mobile presence is so fucking strong.
Now I'm going to have to walk back my statements on quit getting butthurt on the Epic Store v Steam Store
Fuck Tencent.
fight. But
Because if they're throwing money at indie developers, then they're in everyone's pocket.
yeah, with that come to light, I'm going to have to stay out of the Epic Game Store.
I will say that
I already
think
did.
that I
so.
saw something like the Riot CEO, who I don't know.
I wanted to play Borderlands 3.
I don't know his name. The Riot CEO came out on Twitter and was like, "We don't care about like the money and whatever. Like we're still gonna allow free speech." But then like literally 2 days later, there was a big like they banned something, and I shouldn't talk about it because I don't remember exactly.
Sure.
I'm talking out of my ass right now. But I remember seeing something about this where like they went on Twitter and were like, "No, we don't care about that. We don't fuck the money, whatever." And then literally a day or two later, they did something that was exactly in opposition to that. And I was like,
And that was just to include the names of like developers. But they also own like big things. Like you think about Epic Games, so they got their hands in Fortnite, which is massive. They also have their hands in PUBG. Like they're just everywhere, dude. You can't escape them. It sucks.
It's fucking insane.
That's what happens when you have a freaking economy that's made of 1 billion people that are gonna buy things.
Well, what sucks though is that Tencent is on the side of the Chinese government.
Yes, and that's why they suck.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
If Tencent alone were to flip their position on the Chinese government, then
a lot of 10 centers would be disappeared pretty quickly.
Correct.
yeah, but they're also a very powerful company that could probably afford to take a stand against the Chinese government.
Yeah, they want them on their side. That's huge revenue for their fucking country.
Yeah. So Tencent is in a position, especially considering, like, think about it. They're involved in what is honestly a largely left-leaning space. Media and video games, that space is largely left-leaning. It definitely has its, right-wing, portions and whatnot, but that creative space is largely left-leaning, which means that if Tencent were to take the positions of a majority of its people whose pockets its money eventually finds its way into, then they are in a position to strong-arm the Chinese government to stop being totalitarian government.
But how free are they to actually speak out against this? Like, are they actually their own independent company, or are they just an arm of the Chinese government in a totalitarian society, as in with a government like that? Like, do independent or like large scale companies like that actually have free speech, or do they actually have their own ability to just do whatever they want? Or like, I just assume that they have their own, like they have somebody who's in a major arm of the government, like telling them what to do the whole time.
Yeah, I really don't know.
I'm not sure either. Big takeaway from all of this Chinese censorship and people backpedaling, though. Repeat after me. There was no massacre in Tiananmen Square.
Yeah, right. Jesus Christ.
The pictures all say that. See, he wasn't actually squished. He was just standing there. There was no movement of the tank. It was fine.
The fact that Google, censors results. But the thing, and I think the reason that Google gets off lightly in all of this, because it's been known that Google censors search results in China for a very long time. And I think that the reason that Google is shielded from backlash on this is because all of the impact is strictly in China. It is not impacting the rest of the world. I could search Tiananmen Square right now and have pictures on the massacre of Tiananmen Square.
Yep.
So the fact that that influence is now being felt worldwide is a big deal. And actually, even in major film productions, they're not influencing the script. They're influencing the way that film is going to appear in China. Mm-hmm. So it's, now that impact...
different movies sometimes. Like even the Avengers movies, and I know they're
oh, yeah.
Some of it was fun, and you get to see little different things, but like, it's like there are completely different scenes and characters that are not in our Avengers movies that we see, or Marvel movies
for example,
in China.
China doesn't recognize Taiwan's autonomy. So
they don't, because they have a very high stake in that. They want to control Taiwan forever.
So one of the ones that I read is in Top Gun, they removed the Taiwanese flag from Maverick's coat. And that's just one small thing, but yeah.
Android and Apple both do not have the Taiwanese flag as emojis.
Yeah.
In China.
And not to go too far down the rabbit hole here, but we were talking about if they're owned by the Chinese government. It says they're a publicly traded conglomerate. So their stocks are publicly traded, and they don't even own their own company. They are owned by Naspers, which is a South African company.
Interesting.
It's a multinational internet group headquartered in South Africa.
So they just want to be able to continue to operate in China, it sounds like, and that's why they're siding with the government because they want to be able to still, do, to operate
that
there
they
and not
actually
get taxed to shit or shut down.
Oh, yeah. And in 2001, Naspers made an early and successful investment of $32 million in Tencent. As of 2018, Naspers had approximately 31% stake in the company and is its largest shareholder.
Interesting.
Yep.
Huh. Okay.
I still would bet that they have like some kind of diplomat or some
like a government liaison or
official,
something.
Government
of course,
liaison.
yes, they do.
Yeah.
They have to.
Because I was watching a John Oliver thing about the 2-child rule, which got
I had been meaning to watch that, and I haven't had a chance to yet.
And like apparently, like major companies in China, like to enforce the 1-child rule, have like a liaison in between the Chinese government and the company itself, where they would literally like their job would be to go around asking people how their personal life is. And just like
easy.
And like, so like if you wanted to hide your child, you would just like, you wouldn't be able to say that, like say anything about the fact that you're pregnant or like anything like that. Like they literally, their job was to make sure that everyone was having just 1 child.
Wow.
And it's like, it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
It's a different world over there. Like China is crazy.
And, far be it from me to say that one worldview is more correct than another worldview. But I think when in cases like this, where there's clear oppression involved and attempts to cover up past transgressions against their own people,
There was no massacre in Tiananmen.
I think we can say that's wrong.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree.
There's a lot of concern about inflicting Western culture onto nations that have their own culture and their own history and stuff like that. And I am 100% sensitive to that matter, but when it comes to mistreatment of your people, when it comes to, any human rights violations, I think that we should be able to say unequivocally, like flat out, that's wrong.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
Just to give an example of exactly this, with that 1-child rule that they had, and like this was a story that was on the John Oliver segment. There was a woman who was pregnant when she got married to a man that had already had 1 child. And she was forced to do a late-term abortion because they would have 2 children together. And
the only situation in which late-term abortion exists.
Yeah.
Under the Chinese government's 1-child rule.
Yep. And it was like a really late term, like next week, baby was going to get born.
This segment of the Topless Robot Podcast obviously not brought to you by our Chinese overlords.
Yeah, absolutely not.
No, fuck you,
Tencent
China.
is pulling their sponsorship of the show.
Damn, all those pennies.
We
9 or 11 of them.
Not that anyone was ever listening to us from China in the first place, but this will guarantee that we're blocked in China.
Cool.
And
Can we put that on our on our header on the site? Blocked in China.
Banned ourselves from China before the Chinese government could ban us.
Yeah, right.
I want this.
Take that.
On a different note, I think
That's
the China shit.
Let's end this segment with one just all together. Just China sucks. Okay, 1, 2, 3. China sucks. There we go. We're good.
The government. The people.
Yes.
Yeah,
Correct.
the
Okay,
people
no,
are fine.
people
The
are
people
cool.
are great. I have no problem with the people. It's their fucking government.
Chinese government sucks.
Yes.
Sorry.
The PlayStation 5
Yes.
release window was announced.
Holiday 2020.
Holiday 2020. We kind of already knew that it was going to be holiday 2020. Also, Project Scorpio is going to be holiday 2020 as well.
That's the Xbox thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're going to be at the same time.
Is it Scorpio or Scarlet? It's Scarlet.
Scarlet.
Scorpio was the X.
Rumored.
No, Scorpio was Xbox
that's
One X. Scarlet is the new one. And we still don't know what Microsoft is going to call the next Xbox, but
Sony's very excited about that solid state drive.
yes, and actually I am too. Because
I am too, because the PlayStation has issues with it. PS4 has issues with hardcore.
Current generation systems, Xbox and PlayStation, I don't know why anyone buys anything on a disc anymore because it always installs to the hard drive. It takes up an obscene amount of space. You're never playing off of the disc. It doesn't save. It only uses the disc for verification that you own this copy. And but aside from that, it's taking up your precious fucking space on the goddamn system.
That is your daily and friendly reminder that you do not actually own any video games. You're only borrowing them.
Well, you're licensing them. It's always been that way, though.
Yeah, but they can just go, whoop, nope, not anymore.
Yeah.
Remember your Steam library? Doesn't mean anything if they don't want it to.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's why I'm a little bit worried about Stadia. Just saying.
Anyway.
Well, Stadia is a different matter. But it's prone. It's no more susceptible to this licensing thing than anything else.
It's a little bit more just because Stadia is Google, and Google likes to introduce new products and just kill it like within a year. Like, that's why I'm like really afraid of it.
But usually when they have done that in the past, they have not asked for money up front. So in order to actually pull that off, to pull it within a year, they're going to have to reimburse people for the money that they've spent on the platform. There's no two ways about it. They absolutely will have to. In all other cases, Google Wave, you remember Google Wave?
Yeah.
Google Plus, things like that. Those were they didn't cost anything. They didn't charge anything.
True. That's a good point.
Because you're an early adopter of that.
Yes.
And they do not want to receive a strongly worded letter from you.
I tell you what.
I can hear the keys clacking as we speak.
But what's more exciting than just the presence of the solid state drive is the different way that they're going to be treating the game installs, where they can actually portion out the game. So already now you can start, like there's a ready to play ability. So when it's downloaded, you can start and get access to the beginning area, whatever, and, do that thing. And then you inevitably finish the beginning area before your internet, decides that it's going to work. Your internet doesn't work as fast as you do through the intro of a game. Almost
mine.
Always.
Because I'm so good at gaming.
It was lag. I swear, it was lag.
So the way that installs are going to be handled on the PS5, or at least something that they're going to be make available to developers, is sectioning off their game to different portions, so they can offer the ability to prioritize elements of the game. So if you just want to hop into multiplayer on a game, then you can just prioritize the multiplayer. It'll download the single player while you're playing the multiplayer.
Okay, that's actually super cool.
And what's even better is once you finish the single player campaign, you can delete the single player component and keep only multiplayer available.
To free up some space on your hard drive.
Exactly.
I like that, partitioning the different parts of the game.
Exactly.
I am super okay with it.
So if
that would be the opposite. I would delete the multiplayer portion and just go back and play the single player again.
Yeah. And I think that that's very smart, being like, what doesn't matter? This doesn't matter to me anymore. This doesn't matter to me anymore. I just want to play this. That way you can free up that space.
All right. I like it.
Because the switch to SSDs also means, in addition to an increase in speed, it also means a decrease in volume.
Yep.
They haven't released the hard drive sizes, I don't think yet. But
with how cheap SSDs have gotten, I just
bought
a terabyte for $100 like a month ago or 3 months ago.
So think about that in the context of a video game system. That would be one-fifth of a PlayStation 4.
But by the time this was 3 months ago that I got a $100 SSD. Like,
they're still about
in
there.
a year, we'll probably see it more in the $70 range.
Maybe, but even still, that is a not insignificant portion of the cost of a system that they're trying to sell at $500, and and the price points haven't been released yet.
But you'd assume it'd be.
You'd assume because that's what previous generations have been.
Like that was the issue with the PS3 when it came out. It was $600, $650 or whatever it was.
Yeah, something like that.
Everyone's like, "No, I'm not gonna buy it because it's expensive."
But they always sell at a loss. It just depends on how much they're willing to eat. Gesundheit.
Bless you. Thank you. You are blessed, my child.
So that's my concern with that. I'm happy with the new technology and the new direction that they're going with that. I think that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, but excited to play Skyrim on your PlayStation 5.
Thank you, Todd Howard.
I'm never excited to play any Bethesda game. Thanks.
I'm gonna play it on my refrigerator. Maybe on my sneakers when I get some new.
Can't wait to mod it onto my smartwatch.
I mean, that's not that far away. I guarantee you.
Playing Skyrim on a screen that's 2 inches.
They will make it
Not
happen.
even. Like an inch.
They'll do an ARG kind of thing where like, you're going through and it'll like the Pokemon like Go watch thing that bracelet that they have.
Oh yeah.
It'll buzz when you're near
An orc.
an orc or something, and then you just slap.
You either do that or it'll be motion sensitive, so you'll have to swing. So you'll be walking down the street and you feel a little vibration, and it'll have a microphone, right? So you have to be able to say Fusro Da.
Fusro Da.
So you'll be walking down the street and all of a sudden buzz, and people say there's bystanders watching you. Just go, Fusro Da, and then you look like a complete fucking moron.
I would love to watch some idiot do that in public. Oh my god!
I don't know if I've told this story. I went to Harry Potter World at Universal Studios, and you can get like the Harry Potter wands, and they have LED things in the tip of the wands if you pay a little bit extra. And so you're going down Hogsmeade and everything, and you can like there are different windows and with different little like logos on the ground. And when you go, you can like do like Wingardium Leviosa, and it'll do something in the window. It'll like a little
I'd heard
bit of a
about
thing.
this.
It's kind of cool. So I of course did that because I'm a super Harry Potter nerd. I have been reading Harry Potter since I was a small child. And
I was gonna try and come up with a weeb equivalent for Harry Potter, and unfortunately, the first thing that came to mind was Heeb.
Fucking Heebs.
I feel like it'd be a snitch.
Except that's also
I know we can't do that.
we can't do that. We can't do that.
No, I feel like it would be a snitch. I'm a snitch. Anyway.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people who liked Harry Potter when they were kids were probably narcs. So.
Honestly. But so I'm going down so I got my wand and I'm going through and I'm like, this is the best thing ever. And I go to the first window that I see. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. So I start like, you literally have to do a pattern in the air and say the word, like they've got like a,
so it's got a microphone and
got a microphone and everything. And like,
you
they
can't
hear you.
just
you
like,
can't just do this or just say the word. You have to, and it was a little finicky. So I'm sitting there, a grown ass man, in the middle of this children's fuck you. In the middle of this children's park, screaming Wingardium Leviosa and wildly waving my arm around, and it's not fucking working. And then this little kid comes up to me, gives me a smirk, and does it the first fucking try. Literally just, I just looked down.
It's Leviosa.
Leviosa.
Maybe you should have practiced your incantations a little harder in
I
class.
should have. I would have failed my owls, I'm not going to lie.
You just didn't have enough whimsy in your heart.
I wish some kid, instead of doing that, I wish some kid just came up to you and shouted like an evil incantation and blasted you into space.
No, what would have been the best is if this kid came up, did it the first try, then kicked you in the shin and walked away.
It felt like he kicked me in the shin.
He kicked me in the hard shin. Yeah.
Oh man.
The second best part of that trip was one of my friends. He's 6'8" and a very large dude. And this small Chinese, speaking of China, this small Chinese family.
Speaking of China,
yeah.
Chinese
and its
people
oppression.
exist.
There's Chinese people.
No, this family comes up and just starts screaming excitedly, "Oh, it's Hagrid!" And they give their phone to one of our friends and makes us take a picture of them posing with my 6'8" bearded friend. And he's just sitting there, like, it all happened really quickly. So he's just sitting there like,
That's how they do it, dude. They just show up and, like, make you take pictures.
And they're like, Hagrid. And he's like, oh, no.
I just look like this.
It was fantastic. Anyway.
So did you guys hear about this Emma Thompson, Brie Larson thing.
Oh,
that
they want
happened.
to have the all.
So they want to have an all-female Marvel film, which I think would be rad. Because Valkyrie is such a rad character. I enjoy Captain Marvel, and I want to see a lot more with her. Like there are so many strong female roles in the Marvel universe. It would be really cool to see them all together. But specifically in this, I think it was at New York Comic Con, because that's what happened most recently. This panel. They were talking about shipping Valkyrie and Captain Marvel.
Right.
And I think Brie Larson even said that she ships them, whatever. And it gets to the end of the panel, and I think it was like an any last words kind of thing. And Brie Larson goes, "How do you top lesbians?" And Emma Thompson goes, "I'm sure there are plenty of lesbians in the audience who will show you." It just made me laugh so hard.
Oh, that's fantastic. That is fantastic.
Yeah. I really enjoy those characters.
I would watch an all-female Marvel, like the female.
I think it would be rad.
There's a lot of. I love that we've gotten like progressively more stronger with the female heroes recently.
I want to see more about Scarlet Witch. I want to see more. Like I feel like Scarlet Witch didn't get a great
she's
introduction.
got a Disney Plus show.
They also haven't handled her very well so far. She's demonstrated too much control over her power for the way the character is actually supposed to work.
Yeah,
like that's the only grievance I have. I like the actress a lot. I think she does it well, but like
she's an Olsen girl.
Yeah.
She's the sibling of Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen.
Yep.
So Scarlet Witch has a Disney Plus show, and then she's a main character in the new Doctor Strange movie.
Really?
I didn't know
Doctor
that
Strange
one.
and the Multiverse of Madness. She's like the co.
Really?
That's
awesome.
cool.
Doctor
I'm
Strange
cool.
was already my favorite Marvel movie.
Yeah,
so
I'm a
I
big
want to
fan
hear
of
more
Doctor
about
Strange.
this.
Yeah,
I
that'll
actually
be
care
really
about
cool.
this one.
And I'm excited to see what they do with these properties once they move them to Disney Plus. And we're a month away now.
I know, and I've got my 3-year subscription.
I know.
It was a discount. It was $140 for 3 years. I'm sorry.
Speaking of companies deciding that they're sick of a thing after a year,
Right. This isn't working.
Oh, that'd be disappointing.
right?
Disney pointing.
They're not giving you any of that money back.
Because DC Universe is basically that close to pulling the plug. The only saving grace is that they're rolling it into HBO Max.
Yeah, but I mean, Disney doesn't necessarily like Disney. Just the main Disney properties normally don't fail that hard. Like I feel
Right. Sure. But they're also not including
Chinese money.
Yeah. They're also not including any of their R-rated content.
It's all going to be
Disney Plus, which
PG-13.
kind of sucks.
Right. I mean, they could literally just name it the Marvel at Star Wars channel, and
Right.
Which
It'll
I'm
just be a
gonna
money
watch
machine.
the fuck out of Mandalorian. It's gonna be great. I already know. We got Giancarlo Esposito and Pedro Pascal. You got me already.
Yeah, I wish I still cared about Star Wars.
You never cared about Star Wars.
No, I did. I saw all the prequels in theaters on opening nights for all of them.
Did that?
I cared
was
about
that what
Star Wars
ruined
20 years ago.
Was that what ruined your love for Star Wars?
Yeah, probably.
You know what rekindled my love for Star Wars? Going on r/prequel memes, because now those movies are just a giant shitpost.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, man.
I just laugh at those movies now instead of feel personally hurt.
But I remember like the original trilogy growing up. It's a rite of passage when you have parents who grew up, watching them in the theaters. So like it was a big important event when I was old enough to watch the Star Wars movies.
Fair. Speaking of Star Wars, I went and saw a really cool thing last night. I went to the Phoenix Symphony.
Oh, that's right. I saw that that was happening.
And they played Empire Strikes Back, and so it was they literally had the entire Phoenix Symphony out on stage playing all of the score to Empire Strikes Back while you watch the movie.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's awesome.
They just literally took out all of the actual score from the movie and played it live, and
That's really
you were
cool.
still watching the movie, hearing them talk. It was just the movie, but instead of recorded symphony. It was live symphony. It was fucking cool.
You know what? I'd love to see that done with "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou."
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah, that's
Because you usually see that kind of treatment given to symphonic, arrangements and the where the soundtrack is this very dramatic, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I would love to just have like a group of bluegrass bands and shit like that doing the soundtrack to "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou."
That would be cool.
That
And
would be really
replace
cool.
the actual singing when they do the Soggy Bottom Boys live
Yeah.
with a band on stage.
That'd be so rad.
That'd be sick. I would watch the hell out of that.
yeah.
Or other, movies where the soundtrack has a significant impact on the way you experience the film, but aren't necessarily these symphonic arrangements.
Yeah, like do like a rock, almost like how a Broadway has kind of gone rock recent in the last 20 years or so.
Yeah.
Like do that for movie. Like, I mean, it's obviously lagging behind. That would be really cool. Like, I know Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I know that's a little problematic, but that could be another interesting one. Where you have like bands doing like almost a battle of the band setting, but to the movie. Like that would be freaking cool.
That would be pretty rad. That would be really rad.
Because honestly, last night, like sometimes I'm just like, I was just watching the movie and then I almost forgot that there was a live symphony playing in front of me. And it was just like, but then there were just moments where it's just grandiose and beautiful and fantastic. It was so cool.
I imagine that it probably hits those much better than a surround sound system would.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially like the beginning and the end of the da, 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 like, it was so cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, I had seen that was going on. I was curious about it.
Was it just one night?
They're doing all 3 movies, and they've done it before. They also do Harry Potter fairly regularly, like different Harry Potter movies. It's a pop series, so they do it for a lot of those, Danny Elfman, John Williams, and everything. So it's like it's not a just Star Wars thing. It's kind of
cool. Yeah, give me a Danny Elfman score. Absolutely, I would love to hear that live.
Oh yeah, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, watch Batman. The
I think
original
they've done.
Batman.
I think they've done a Batman one recently, or in the last couple years. I see him pop up on Facebook all the time because they always advertise those heavily. And
actually, on the topic of Danny Elfman, are you guys are familiar with Ska Tune Network? The dude who does the ska covers of all the he did probably got the most viral and most recognition from his ska cover of the Wii Store music.
Oh.
Good old dude.
Whatever that sounds like.
It's so good. It's so good.
I don't know why, but that's all of the Wii music has become so shitpost worthy. Like the Me Channel theme, the Wii Shop theme. Like where did that come from?
It kind of feels like it's recent too, doesn't it? Like in the last year or two.
No, the people have been doing like remixes of the Me theme for fucking years.
Maybe it just feels like it's all of a sudden sprouted up again. Because I feel like I've seen a whole bunch of videos shared and everything where it's just like, all right.
So he did, and it's one dude who plays every instrument and does the full arrangement. He's incredibly talented.
And so, like, any popular like cartoon theme song stuff like that, he's doing ska versions.
Yeah,
I think I saw
Ska Tune.
Yeah, like Ska Tune Network. Yes, similar to Cartoon Network.
Right. That's kind of.
But Ska Tune Network.
And it's already catered to a ska logo with the checkerboard.
Right. Exactly. So he posted today his cover of the Beetlejuice theme song.
Oh.
Yes.
And it's fucking great. It is phenomenal. Like, even just thinking about it, I'm getting goosebumps. Because I love Danny Elfman stuff in general anyway. But man, I'm also a huge Beetlejuice fan. So
Beetlejuice is so good. They made a musical recently.
really, I feel like I would have zero interest in that.
It's very good. It's actually...
Really?
Yeah. I've only listened to the soundtrack. It's fantastic. Whoever they got to be Beetlejuice does a very good, like it's not your normal musical. Like, it's kind of just heavy, and like he sounds like Beetlejuice. He sounds like Michael Keaton. He sounds like Michael Keaton singing a song, and it's dark and it's great.
So I have a little bit of a problem with that in that I loved the Beetlejuice film for what it was. And it was fun. It was very enjoyable. But Beetlejuice is the bad guy. Beetlejuice is definitely the bad guy.
Oh, they make him the bad guy.
He's entertaining and he's a bad guy. I fell in love with Beetlejuice from the cartoon. The cartoon where Beetlejuice is Lydia's best friend and has this infinite power and everything. It was so well written and so well done and went on for like 3 or 4 seasons, and it was great. But it has nothing to do with the movie. Not at all. They use the same music, but that's pretty much it.
I forgot about that cartoon. I have seen that cartoon. It's been forever since I've seen that cartoon.
I have it on DVD. But ultimately, Beetlejuice is kind of a dickhead in the movies. He's a bad guy. He's not, and he's got some jokes and whatnot, but I don't know. I just enjoy his character where, in the cartoon, he's still a dickhead, but he's a lovable dickhead.
And in the movies, he's just a dick.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, his one and only motivation is to come back to life and manifest himself and do his own shit.
He's advertising himself as like living, an exterminator, basically. Like get the living out of your home.
Exactly.
Thing. Yeah.
He's supposed to be a bad guy.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's what makes it interesting.
Right. And that's what
anti-hero.
Makes that. No, I wouldn't even go so far as to call him an anti-hero. He's just kind of a dick.
He's just kind of an asshole. You're right.
He's an anti-hero in the cartoon, but he's just a dick.
He is the primary antagonist in the movie. That's right.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen that.
Yeah, it's been a long while since I've seen it as well. I've actually seen the cartoon more recently than I've seen the movie. But don't get me wrong, I love them both for different reasons. But the reason that I love Beetlejuice as a character is the cartoon.
But you don't think it would translate into a musical?
No, not really.
I am Beetlejuice.
I'll have to show
It would have to be
like an opera.
That's the musical.
His singing voice would have to be something like this.
It's exactly like that, and it's amazing. It literally
How do you get tone out of that scratch?
Oh, it's ridiculous. I'll have to show it to you when we're done here. Like it's pretty fantastic. The guy who does it is really good. It kind of blew me away because I had the same. I mean, I love musicals anyway, but
is there a rap in it?
Kind of. It's fantastic.
I'll have to check it out. I'm sure it'll be fine, but what made me love Beetlejuice as a character is definitely a cartoon.
That's fair. It's fair. You're wrong, but it's fair.
What else has been going on this week? Is there anything else that I'm forgetting?
You stole all of my beats, which is why I sound so prepared right now.
I feel like we just all read the same news.
I know.
China.
Yeah.
China.
That's pretty much all I've spent my consumption on is China shit posting like this whole week. So
yeah.
that's all I got.
I finally got to play Untitled Goose Game.
Ooh.
And that was pretty fun.
It truly captures the essence of being one of the world's most shit-headed animals.
Yep. And then I saw on Facebook someone shared a video of a guy who takes his goose George shopping with him.
Yeah.
And it seemed like a very perfectly mild-mannered goose.
Yeah, that's a tamed goose.
Yeah.
Wild geese fucking suck. Those are assholes. They're all terrible creatures, dude.
They're dicks.
Yeah.
They're total dicks.
Canadians, very polite. Canadian geese, jerk.
Canadian geese will fight you.
Yes.
Seriously, it's a simple pleasure, but one of my favorite things to do in the game is just put the wings out and kind of do the waddle towards people like, fuck you, come at me, bro.
Yeah.
It just makes you feel like you wish you could do that in real life. It's just like if someone's really annoying, you're just
and I love you'd find a pair of walkie-talkies at some point. And you can place a walkie-talkie by someone and then go pick up the other walkie-talkie and honk into it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
I saw a video the other day where a dude, he went and picked up every single item you could pick up in the game. And there's like a pit in the corner of the map somewhere. And he just dragged all of the items one by one and put them into the pit. So literally this pit was filled with every single thing you could find in the entire game.
Wow.
It made me want to play that game even more.
It's one of those games that has objectives, but you can also make your own game.
Yeah.
And those are
pretty
great.
much.
I love it when games do that. I love it when you can make the game into something else.
Yeah.
You're not necessarily breaking it, but it gave you that open space enough to where you can do whatever the fuck.
A little sandbox.
Little sandbox, yeah. Yeah.
And finally beat Link's Awakening, which was an outstanding game. I need to go back into it and 100% it, though. I didn't get all the seashells. I didn't get all the heart containers. I'm like 3 heart containers short.
100% here doesn't mean you get 100% of the frames, because you don't. You don't.
Yeah, no, you still
Still frames.
I bought
It's in the DLC though.
get the rest of the frames. 1999.
Honestly, with Nintendo's prices on DLC, hell yeah.
So we had speculated when we first talked about Link's Awakening that the reason for the frame discrepancy was that they had made it for the newer revision of the hardware with the minor power boosts that you get from the newer hardware. Well, I bought a new Nintendo Switch the other day, and nope, that's not it. Still frame loss. And it's not the worst frame loss in the world, but it is pervasive enough where you're really just shaking your head going, why, Nintendo?
The optimization is bad.
And it would be passable if it wasn't a Nintendo game. Is that why everyone's
probably,
making,
pretty much.
out of it?
Nintendo doesn't do that. That is something that Nintendo, with as much shit as we give Nintendo for internet, for games not going down in price year after year, for running out of ideas halfway through a console cycle, the one thing that they've always been good at is releasing a well-optimized game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, fucking Super Mario not Galaxy, Odyssey, it seemed like a big, ambitious title. Because there's a lot to that game, and it's one of the prettier games on the system.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
Zero slowdown at any time.
No, Breath of the Wild was an open.
Yeah,
it was a
launch title.
It was a launch title, and that game looks like it should be on a more powerful system.
Yeah,
and yet you never saw any slowdown or anything. So what the fuck is wrong with Link's Awakening? It's cartoony and fun.
The only thing that I can think is that so at the end of the credits, it does say that it was made with another company, in partnership with another company. So the only thing I can think is that other company dropped the ball somehow.
Too many polygons.
And something that I learned in watching that one video where they, tried to pinpoint the reasoning and stuff like that for the frame slowdown. I didn't realize that it did like dynamic rescaling of the resolution. And so that means that like at any given point in time, the things on the screen could be a variety of different resolutions. Like it changes resolution on a regular basis while you're playing.
Interesting.
In order to keep speed. And obviously that's not working. So, yeah.
But only slightly.
Only slightly. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's a little irritating.
I think that you probably put it perfectly. Just you only notice it because it is Nintendo, and they're so good at that. And it's like every other game on a lot of systems, like you run into those little frame hiccups.
Mm-hmm.
It's like having a mosquito buzz your ear the entire time you're playing the game.
Yeah, a little annoying.
Sounds awful.
I hate that.
Yeah. That's for you, headphone listeners.
Yeah, lucky you.
Yeah, it's so great.
If we all take turns doing it, it'll sound like it's flying around your head.
I'm not doing that much audio processing.
Okay.
But yeah, and then I've got a Nintendo Switch Lite arriving tomorrow. So I can kind of test out. Because what a lot of people are doing is not just buying one or the other. They'll have the base console and then they'll have a Lite for on the go. And
so weird to me.
Is there a reason?
Sorry.
No, you started first.
The whole fucking point of the Switch is that you can take it off of remove the base and take it with you.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
Is there a reason you have one arriving and you didn't just go to like Target and buy one?
I just ordered through a place that I had a bunch of credit with.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yeah.
Ryan doesn't actually leave his house. He stays here and just orders everything.
Though I did go to Best Buy during rush hour to get my Nintendo Switch. I had to get new wireless transponders for the house anyway. So while I was there, I figured I might as well just get a.
Did you walk out of the door and just like burnt your skin? Or did you start sparkling? Are you more of an Edward vampire? Yes, it's been a while. I deserve that one. That was bad.
Yeah, you really do. So I'm going to venture down the clunky path of having 2 primary switches, and I've read that it is not easy to have the same account on 2 systems,
and that you want to have your Switch Lite be your primary, so you don't have to be access to the internet in order to play games you've downloaded.
Exactly, because you can have a primary and a secondary system, but any secondary system is going to check if you're allowed to play the game it's currently playing every 3 hours or so over the internet. So your system that is only mobile has to be your primary system. I mean, it only makes sense that it be your primary system because it doesn't do those checks.
That's annoying.
Yep.
Again,
so like
Nintendo, fucking get your internet in fucking order. Jesus.
The Switch that I'm going to, like, for example, be playing on a plane is going to be the Lite, and I'm not going to have internet access there.
Did you get a blue one?
No, I got a gray one.
Oh.
I do want to get the blue one, but...
Why didn't you just get the blue one?
Because they didn't have the blue one in stock, and I wanted one.
You could have went to Target!
Shame.
But I am also planning on getting the Pokemon one.
Oh, right. They're like kind of gray and pink and blue.
Yeah,
and...
they look really neat.
I think we broke.
I'm a collector. What do you want of me?
Which Nintendo Switch should I take out in public today? The Pokemon one? The gray one? The blue one?
The yellow one?
Which one best matches my fancy?
This one doesn't go well with my hand pose. I might as well go with the other one. It melds well with my mascara.
No, realistically, I'm going to get ones that are... similarly to, how I got my Metroid 3DS and shit like that, and my Legend of Zelda GBASP, when they come out with, cool ones that have those designs on them, I'm going to have them just to have as a collector, just to, because I love collecting handhelds specifically. And I feel like it's just nice to add to the collection.
Yeah, I get it. I'm the opposite of a collector mentality. If I'm not going to use something, I don't want it.
Yeah.
I get it. But if you told me, like, I'm going to buy 5 Nintendo Switches, what the fuck are you doing?
But I mean, like, I've got a Wonder Swan that I've turned on like twice because I don't speak Japanese or read Japanese. But it's one of those systems that was a really cool system, like, and made for a real specific purpose, like to be able to shift it into a portrait mode because it was made by Bandai, and a lot of the stuff that they had were like shmups and shit like that. So it's the only handheld to that point that had ever had that capability.
Yeah. Now
the Switch, you can do that sort of thing with the proper holder and stuff, and that's fucking cool.
And now you can do it on 5 of them.
Well, on 2 of the 5.
Well, yeah, you're just going to have to regularly remove your account from one and then put it on another.
No. On 2 of the 5, you can change that.
Oh,
because they've made Joy-Con holders where
the other ones will be
holds
Switch Lites.
it vertically, and the other ones will be Switch Lites.
Soon, Ryan won't need an actual TV. He'll just stack up his Switches.
Just wire into every single one to create a massive display.
I mean, one of the reasons
Now
why
I can play Link's Awakening with no frames.
one of the reasons why I got the new one, aside from wanting the battery, the increased battery life on the new one, was because I wanted to have a Nintendo Switch that I could actually just experiment with. Because I love, I'm not a big pirate or anything like that, but I love picking apart and playing with the exploits of systems.
Experiment with it? Was that put a Joy-Con in your butt or?
The vibration function is subpar.
The Joy-Cons have the HD rumble.
Yeah.
So.
Ooh.
That is
really spice up your life.
A new part of the peripheral, that fit ring thing that they do.
I forgot about that dumbass thing.
It comes with an optional butt plug attachment for the Joy-Con.
Yeah.
No, I actually...
I'm just imagining that episode of South Park with...
Oh, the
things.
Yeah.
Oh.
Everybody knows the Wii was the tip for the rectal accessories. It doesn't get any better than that.
I'm assuming you meant tip there. You used your words very specifically there. Just the tip.
But yeah, it's fun to see.
I only make love to the me theme.
Ska version. So if you're gonna hack into it, that can't be linked to your account at all, right? Because otherwise you'll get
it's unsafe to. It can, and the community does come up with safeguards to prevent your account from being banned and things like that. But it's still running a risk of banning it. And at the very least, they can still ban the hardware if I connect to their servers. But I don't really care.
Right.
That's not a concern of mine, because at this point, it's entirely for experimenting with the system. Because it's basically an NVIDIA Shield in it, which is really cool. But so that means people have made an Android distribution that you can load onto it, and then you can start loading all the games that the NVIDIA Shield has available for it, which weirdly in China only includes Super Mario Galaxy, which is a game that I miss playing.
Yeah, I was going to say when I looked through your library that you don't have enough games on there and that you really should emulate some more, for sure.
For all of our listeners who don't know, he's lying.
I'm being facetious.
I like experimenting with the hardware, that I get, and kind of picking it apart. And
I saw you were marveling at how the system on it is actually accesses the touchscreen on it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really neat what they've already been able to do with
the homebrew stuff.
Yeah. So, and especially since it's since I had pre-ordered it and it's the first edition hardware, very first edition hardware, there is no way for them to patch out the exploit to load homebrew on it.
Nice.
So, yeah, because it's a hardware exploit. So, yeah.
Ryan has the power.
But yeah, I just think it's neat to kind of fuck around with that stuff. It's it's a hobbyist thing.
I wish I had the patience.
It doesn't take a lot. Well, it took me all morning. That's about it.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't have the technical ability to even crack one of those things open without destroying it.
You don't have to crack anything open.
No? I thought you said you had to bridge something on your Joy-Con.
You have to bridge something on your Joy-Con, and by that I mean this right here.
Okay.
So, and I'll show the camera right here on the right Joy-Con. If you didn't know, your Joy-Cons actually connect similarly to like an SD card. It actually has connectors on the bottom of the Joy-Con that it slides in and connects with connectors on the bottom of the Switch. And so if you take a safety or a paperclip and bend it out, you can bridge pin on one side to the pin on the other side, and when you power it on, you hold the plus and power button together, boots into what's called RCM mode, and that basically is like a maintenance kind of mode, And so you install the USB driver for the Switch, you plug it into your computer, and you can load a bootloader into it. And so your computer recognizes it, it sees that it's in RCM mode, you sideload this image onto it, and it loads into this front end that gives you access to a lot, different features. Depending on what's on your SD card, you can then load into a custom firmware or an install of Android.
Oh.
So yeah,
The more
neat stuff.
Yeah.
Neat.
We are getting towards the end of the episode. What games have you all been playing this week? Anything at all? I know you've been.
I haven't been playing, but I got to the final boss in Blasphemous, and I recognized after he killed me once that it was the final boss, and and I was like, shit, there's a bunch of paths that I wasn't able to access, so I had to go back, and I found this thing that grows these branches. So now there's a whole bunch of shit I gotta go find before I want to fight the final boss. So such is the life in a Metroidvania.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's life. Sorry.
But Blasphemous is an awesome game.
Yes, what I have played of it, I have very,
really
very
cool.
much enjoyed it.
Definitely looks really cool.
It's a gorgeous game.
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing Rock Band again. Lots of Rock Band. I'm trying to get good again. I know I said this last week too.
Let me see your calluses.
They're not there anymore. They used to be there. I used to have a stupid little muscle that was only right here on my forearm because I played way too often.
Jesus, really?
It was really weird.
He was a pro, dude.
Wow.
That was a
You're not
tumor.
fucking around.
All I would do, like literally high school for me, I'd go to school, come home, do my homework, and then play Guitar Hero for like 4 hours.
And masturbate.
And then that was the training, obviously.
Yes.
You know how to get that.
Masturbation training.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, man, invite me over. I'll play Rock Band with you.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you masturbate with him.
I thought that's what he was hinting at completely.
Rock Band.
We're gonna practice our tremolo picking together. So yeah,
just the Rock Band for you. Then?
yeah, pretty much.
And masturbation.
I'm really trying hard to get my skills back to where I feel better about myself. Because every time I play, I feel like I suck really bad. So.
Yeah, and it's affecting your real world confidence. I've noticed that about you. You've got a sunken,
It is. That was my one thing that I was good at. And then I lost that. And I'm like, oh no,
You're
I
a
have
shell of a
nothing
man.
that makes me interesting anymore.
a hollow person because
I don't know. You're on a podcast.
I've already used that card too many times, Ryan.
it just doesn't get me laid like it used to.
I tell Jenna that every night, and
So yeah,
I know, honey. I know.
you said that 10 minutes ago. Is it working yet?
Just in bed. Podcast!
Dan.
Yes.
I played a couple hours of Fire Emblem, and that's really it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, didn't get a whole lot of video game playing in this week
It was
either.
a week.
Yeah.
Week.
It was a rough week.
Fucking
Yeah.
China.
Fucking China.
God
damn.
First the rights of their citizens, and Dan's video game playing time. Like,
Jesus
holy shit.
Christ.
I've been too distracted by shit posting. It's one of those things where you have to jump on it when it happens. Because, oh man,
Once in a lifetime.
that's all I can say, man. Watching the baby men in the hard drive hangout get pissed off about it brought me joy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, man. So I guess on that note, thanks for watching and or listening. We'll see you in the next one.
Woo. Bye-bye.
There was no massacre at Tiananmen Square.
Taking off today and breathe. Sometimes you have to sit if you want to make a stand. Hate to shit, taking liberties. Taking liberties.
Luke, it says I'm locked out of my account again.
Yeah,
let me tell you something, brother. You load the podcast with the rocket fuel, and you start the mega powers, and you hit that subscribe button. Ooh, I'm not gonna rip my shirt because it's the only one I have right now. Subscribe.